My name is Sarah B. Bjork. I'm 32 years old, and for the past 6 years, I have been a senior procurement specialist at Harrington Industries. I know that does not sound glamorous. People hear procurement, and their eyes start drifting toward the nearest exit. But here is the truth. I negotiate million-dollar contracts with suppliers. I manage relationships that keep entire divisions moving. Last quarter alone, I saved the company $4.3 million by renegotiating our steel imports. I do not make noise. I do not walk into meetings needing everyone to look at me. I do not laugh loudly at my own jokes or turn every conversation into a performance. I just get things done. Maybe that was the problem. 3 years ago, I met Logan Mitchell at a company mixer. He worked in marketing, bright, ambitious, charming in the polished way people learn when their job is making products sound irresistible. He could walk into a room and own it within minutes. I was quieter, more observant, the kind of person who listened before speaking and preferred results over attention. At first, Logan said he loved that about me. He said I was stable, grounded, different from the chaotic people he had dated before. He told me once, early in our relationship, that he was tired of women who only knew how to perform confidence but could not build anything real. I thought that meant he valued what I brought to the table. It turned out stable gets boring when someone else starts promising excitement. It was a Tuesday evening, October 17th, when everything fell apart. We were at his apartment in downtown Seattle, one of those modern places with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Space Needle. I had brought Thai takeout, his favorite green curry from the place on Pine Street. He barely touched it. "We need to talk," he said. Those words have a sound before they even finish leaving someone's mouth. I set down my fork. "Okay, what's going on?" Logan looked at me for a long moment. There was distance in his eyes. Not sadness, not guilt. Distance, like he had already packed up emotionally and was only waiting for me to notice the empty room. "I'm not attracted to you anymore, Sarah." I blinked. "What?" "I need someone with a stronger personality," he said. "Someone who takes charge. You're just too passive, too comfortable." The way he said it hurt more than shouting would have. Calm, matter of fact, like he was explaining a business decision. "Logan, where is this coming from?" he sighed, as if I was making the ending inconvenient. "I've been seeing someone else." The room seemed to shrink around me. "Who?" "Talia Chen. She works in business development." I knew exactly who Talia was. 28, sharp suits, sharper smile, always surrounded by people at networking events. She had the kind of confidence that announced itself before she did, the kind Logan had apparently decided was strength. "How long?" I asked. 2 months. 2 months. I thought about the late nights he said were campaign deadlines. The weekend he claimed he was visiting his cousin in Portland. The dinner where he spent the entire time texting and called it work emergencies. "So this is it," I said. "You're breaking up with me for Talia." "Yes," he said quietly. "I'm sorry, I really am, but I need more than what you can give me." I looked at the man I had once imagined building a future with. We had talked about buying a house someday, getting a dog. Marriage, not immediately, but eventually. And for 2 months, while I was thinking about kitchens and mortgage rates and Sunday mornings, he had been choosing someone else. Here is the thing about me. I do not explode. I do not throw glasses or scream in parking lots. My father used to say I had ice in my veins, but that was not exactly true. I feel everything. I have just learned that not every wound deserves a performance. So I nodded. "I understand," I said quietly. "I hope it works out for you." Logan looked almost disappointed. Maybe he expected me to beg. Maybe he wanted proof that I was as weak as he had decided I was. "That's it?" he asked. "What else is there to say? You made your choice." I stood, grabbed my jacket, and walked to the door. My hand was on the handle when he spoke again. "Sarah." I turned. "Talia's up for a big promotion," he said, and something about his voice changed. Pride, hope, maybe even warning. "Director of Strategic Procurement. Once she gets it, everything is going to change for us. She'll be making real money. We'll have a real future. The words landed slowly. Director of Strategic Procurement. I knew that title. Rumors had been circling for weeks that the company was creating a new leadership role over West Coast vendor strategy. I had not known Talia was chasing it. I had not known Logan's future with her depended on it. I nodded once. Good for her. Then I left. The next morning, I came into work early because sleep had been impossible. At 8:12 a.m., my phone rang. Ellen Vasquez, our VP of Operations. Sarah, she said, do you have a minute? Sure. Can you come up to my office? Now, if possible. When I arrived, Ellen gestured for me to sit. Her office was neat, organized, family photos on the credenza, and a whiteboard covered in strategic planning notes. I'm going to cut to the chase, she said. We're creating a new position, Director of Strategic Procurement, West Coast Division. Corner office. $180,000 base, performance bonuses that could push past $220,000, direct report to me, and a seat in executive planning meetings. I sat very still. The role is between you and Talia Chen, Ellen continued. Talia has been pushing hard, she has connections. But your numbers speak for themselves, Sarah. You have earned this 10 times over. I thought of Logan saying Talia would be making real money. Talia would have a real future. Talia would become everything I apparently was not. Ellen leaned forward. The board wants a decision by Friday. If you want this, you need to make your case. For the first time since the breakup, something inside me warmed. Not anger, focus. I want it, I said. Ellen smiled. Good. Then do not hold back. I spent the next 2 days working like the rest of the world had disappeared. Not because of Logan. At least, that was what I told myself at first. But every time fatigue crept in, I heard his voice again. Too passive. Too comfortable. I need someone with a stronger personality. Then I would look back at the numbers, the vendor histories, the supply chain reports, and remember exactly who I was when no one was standing beside me measuring my worth against someone louder. I came in early, stayed late, worked through lunch. I did not build a flashy presentation full of slogans and bright graphics. I built a strategy, a real one. I outlined a complete restructuring of our West Coast supplier network, identified $12 million in potential savings over the next 18 months, and mapped a 5-year plan that would give Harrington Industries leverage over 3 major competitors. I included case studies from contracts I had personally negotiated. I included vendor testimonials, risk analyses, cost models, timelines, and a breakdown of inefficiencies no one in upper management had fully addressed. By Wednesday night, I was still in the office at 11, alone except for the cleaning crew. Maria, one of the cleaners, paused by my door. You okay, Miss Bjork? I looked up from my laptop and smiled tiredly. Just finishing something important. She glanced at the papers covering my desk. Must be very important. It is. Then good luck, she said. That small kindness stayed with me longer than it should have. Thursday afternoon, I walked into Ellen's office and handed her a bound 40-page proposal. She opened it expecting something solid. I watched her expression change by page 3. Sarah, she said slowly, flipping through the charts. This is exceptional. Thank you. No, I mean it. This is executive-level thinking. You've addressed things our current leadership has been circling for years. I did not know what to say, so I stayed quiet. She looked up at me. Talia presents tomorrow at 9. You present at 10:30. Do exactly what you did here. Do not shrink. That word hit something tender. Shrink. I had spent so long being praised for being easy, calm, low maintenance, professional. I had not realized how often people confused quiet with small. Friday came. Talia presented first. I did not see it, but I saw her afterward in the hallway. surrounded by two men from business development and smiling like she had already won. Her blazer was sharp, her confidence sharper. She glanced at me once, and there was something almost amused in her eyes, like I was a formality. At 10:30, I stepped into the boardroom. Ellen sat near the head of the table. 3 board members watched me with polite executive impatience. I connected my laptop, opened my first slide, and began. No jokes. No performance. No desperate attempt to sound impressive. Just facts. By the time I reached the vendor restructuring model, one board member had stopped checking his phone. By the time I outlined the projected savings, another was taking notes. By the end, the room was silent in a way I had learned to recognize. Not boredom, attention. Friday passed without an answer. Saturday morning, I was on my second cup of coffee when Ellen called. "Congratulations, Director Bjork." I sat down slowly. The board was unanimous. They said Talia's presentation was polished, but yours was transformative. You start Monday. For a moment I could not speak. Then I said, "Thank you." "No, Sarah," Ellen replied. "Thank you. You earned this." Monday, October 30th. I walked into the corner office on the 12th floor. Windows on 2 sides. Downtown Seattle below. A nameplate on the desk that read Sarah B. Bjork, Director of Strategic Procurement. I had an assistant now, Patricia, a no-nonsense woman in her 50s who knew the building better than the directory did. I spent the morning meeting my new team, 7 people who would now report to me. I spent the afternoon learning systems, reviewing vendor priorities, and trying not to stare too long at the city outside my window. At 3:47 p.m., Patricia knocked. "Someone here to see you, Logan Mitchell. He says it's personal." My hand froze on a folder. "Send him in." Logan walked in wearing a navy coat and the expression of someone prepared to be wounded and persuasive at the same time. Then he saw the office. The nameplate. Me behind the desk. All the color drained from his face. "Sarah. Logan." My voice stayed neutral. Professional. "What can I do for you?" "You got the promotion." "I did." He opened his mouth, closed it, then looked around like the room might explain itself. "But Talia said it was basically hers. She said her presentation was amazing. She said the board loved her." Apparently not enough. His hand tightened around the strap of his bag. "Does Talia know?" "I assume Ellen told her Friday." He looked like he might be sick. "This was her shot. She's been planning this for months. She told me once she got it we could move in together. She said everything would change." And there it was, the real future he had chosen. I leaned back slightly. "I see." He looked at me then, really looked, and panic flickered across his face. "Sarah, listen. Maybe we were hasty." I almost laughed. He continued quickly. "I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. But seeing you here, seeing you step up like this... Stop." The word came out sharper than I intended, but I did not regret it. He flinched. "You were very clear 2 weeks ago," I said. "You needed someone with a stronger personality. Someone confident, someone driven, someone who takes charge. I respect that. I hope you and Talia are very happy together." "But Sarah..." "I have a meeting in 10 minutes. Patricia can show you out." His eyes shone with something that might have been regret, but I no longer trusted regret that only appeared after success. "You've changed," he whispered. "No," I said. "I just stopped waiting for you to notice who I already was." Patricia appeared in the doorway without needing to be called. Logan picked up his bag and left without another word. For the first time in weeks, I looked around that office and felt no urge to prove anything to him. The room already knew I belonged there. At 4:32 that afternoon, Talia Chen walked into my office without knocking. She had always moved like that, like every room had been expecting her. Designer heels, white blazer, jaw tight with anger she was trying to make look professional. Patricia appeared behind her, clearly irritated. "She wouldn't wait," Patricia said. "It's fine," I replied. "Close the door, please." Talia waited until Patricia left, then turned on me. We need to talk. I folded my hands on the desk. About what? You know exactly what. You stole my promotion. There it was. Not lost. Not failed to earn. Stole. I earned a position I was qualified for, I said. Just like you had the opportunity to do. Her eyes narrowed. Don't play innocent. You knew I was up for this. You knew what it meant for me and Logan. You did this to get back at us. Actually, I said, keeping my voice even, I did not know what it meant for you and Logan until about an hour ago, when Logan came in here and told me you were counting on this promotion to afford moving in together. Her face changed. He came here? He did. What did he say? I stood and walked to the window. The city below looked calm from that height. All glass and gray water and tiny moving cars. He saw my name on the desk and immediately suggested maybe we had been hasty about breaking up. Talia went still. That's not true. I turned back to her. Ask him where he was at 3:47 this afternoon. Ask him what he said when he saw me sitting here. Her mouth tightened, but doubt had already entered the room. I could see it in the way her confidence shifted, just slightly, like a heel catching on uneven pavement. You're lying, she said. Am I? For a second, neither of us spoke. Then she pulled out her phone and walked out of my office. I heard her voice in the hallway, sharp and shaking. Logan, where are you? Did you go see Sarah today? Patricia appeared in the doorway again. Everything okay? Fine, I said. Just a difficult conversation. That was Talia Chen, she said, lowering her voice. The one who was up for your position. Yes. Patricia nodded like she had already filed the information somewhere important. Office gossip says she's been telling people she got cheated, that her connections should have made it a sure thing. People will say what they need to say. For what it's worth, Patricia said. I worked with the last director for 8 years. You are already better prepared than he was on his best day. I almost smiled. Thank you. The rest of the day I worked, not because I was unaffected, but because work had always been the place where noise became numbers and chaos became something I could organize. I met with 3 major vendors, renegotiated terms on a contract that would save us another $200,000 annually, and started building trust with my new team. At 8:47 that night, my personal phone buzzed. Logan, Talia broke up with me. Logan, she called me a social climber. Logan, she said I used her. Logan, this is your fault, Sarah. Logan, you ruined everything. I stared at the messages from my kitchen table in the little house I was renting. The one he had once said was, fine for now. For a full minute, I felt the old pull to explain, to soothe, to make someone else's emotions easier to carry. Then I typed one response. I didn't ruin anything. You made your choices. So did Talia. So did I. Good luck, Logan. Then I blocked him. November came quietly. I settled into the new role faster than anyone expected. My team respected me because I did not micromanage them, and because I did not need to dominate a room to lead one. I held weekly one-on-ones, learned their strengths, asked real questions, and backed them when they needed support. By mid-November, we had exceeded our quarterly targets by 23%. On November 14th, Ellen called me into her office. The board is impressed, she said. Very impressed. They are already discussing fast-tracking you for VP consideration next year. I sat there, stunned. That is incredible. You earned it, she said. Keep doing what you are doing. 2 days later, Patricia told me HR was waiting in the conference room. My stomach dropped. Brenda Walsh, head of HR, sat inside with a folder in front of her and the uncomfortable expression of someone who disliked the conversation she was required to have. Sarah, she said, I need to talk to you about a formal complaint. Okay. Logan Mitchell filed a complaint alleging that you used your position to interfere with Talia Chen's career opportunities, created a hostile work environment, and abused your authority to settle personal scores. For a moment, I felt heat rise in my chest. Then I breathed through it. That is quite an accusation. We have to take it seriously, Brenda said. Can you walk me through your side? So I did. The breakup on October 17th. Ellen approaching me on October 18th. The proposal process. The board decision. Logan coming to my office uninvited. Talia confronting me the same day. Logan's texts afterward. I showed Brenda everything, including the messages I had saved before blocking him. She took notes carefully. And you have no current contact with Logan? I blocked him on October 30th. And Talia? No contact beyond her coming to my office uninvited. Brenda nodded. We will investigate fully. The next 2 days were tense. I kept working, but I felt the complaint hovering over me like smoke. Even a false accusation could stain a reputation if people wanted it to. On November 18th, Brenda returned. The complaint has been dismissed, she said. Relief hit so hard I had to sit down. We interviewed Logan, Talia, Ellen, the board members involved, and reviewed both proposals. There is no evidence of misconduct. Your proposal was substantially more detailed and more professional. Logan's story changed. Talia admitted she told people the role was basically hers before the board decided. This was personal, not professional. What happens now? Logan has been warned about filing false complaints. Talia's manager is also addressing the fallout in business development. Their relationship drama has become disruptive. I nodded. Thank you for handling it fairly. Brenda stood, then paused. Off the record, Sarah, keep your focus where it belongs. You are doing excellent work. 4 months have passed now. It is Valentine's Day, which feels almost poetic. Logan transferred to the Portland office in January after requesting a change of scenery. Talia left Harrington in December for a competitor and, according to office gossip, took a smaller role than the one she expected here. As for me, Ellen promoted me again last month. VP of Strategic Operations. I now oversee procurement, logistics, and supply chain across all North American divisions. I report directly to the COO. My salary nearly doubled. I bought a house in Bellevue with a view of Lake Washington. Not a rental, a real home with a yard and a 2-car garage. But more than the money or title, I am respected. People come to me for advice. My team trusts me. The board listens when I speak. And here is the strange part. Logan was right about one thing. I had been comfortable. Maybe too comfortable. I had been playing safe, waiting for someone else to recognize what I was capable of. But he was wrong about strength. Strength is not always loud. Confidence is not always designer suits and big speeches. Taking charge does not always mean grabbing the spotlight. Sometimes it means staying calm when everything falls apart. Sometimes it means doing the work so well that no one can deny it. Sometimes it means walking away from people who cannot see your value until someone else puts your name on the door. I met someone in January, Kelly, a data analyst from a consulting firm we work with. She likes that I am quietly confident. Her words, not mine. We are taking it slow, and that feels right. Logan needed someone with a strong personality. Turns out I had one all along. He just could not see it until I stopped standing where he left me.